Marianne. How are you doing? Happy Tuesday. Hope everybody had a great holiday. Hello, Marilyn, Barbara, Mary. Hello, hello. How is everybody? How was your Labor Day? All the kids back in school? All that good stuff. Hey, Lois. So we've got about a minute and a half before we start. We'll let people pop on. As you're popping on, say hello. Hi, Robin. We are going to continue talking about Alcohol Inc. today. And I'm going to show you some comparisons between using isopropyl alcohol and blending solution. So that's what we are going to talk about. Hey, Susan, you made it. Yay. Oh, Marianne, did you buy the bundle for the 49 Market Christmas Spectacular? Yeah, there are some really nice projects. Hello, Miss Renee. All right, well, in about a minute, we'll get started. I've done some prep work, as you can see. I'm getting all fancy over here. But I was doing a little bit of research, and I wrote down a couple of notes about some of the differences between the alcohol blending solution by Ranger. Bottle's a little bit different now. This is an older one. And regular, this is 91% isopropyl alcohol. So I just put my alcohol in a little dropper like this that will close tight, or in a spray bottle like this, depending on how I'm going to use it. Today we're using it mostly in the dropper. So just a little bit about the blending solution, in that it's different from rubbing alcohol because it has glycerin, liquid glycerin in it. So the glycerin slows down the drying process of the alcohol ink, okay? And it allows you to do more blending, gives you more time for blending. And it doesn't break down the dye in the alcohol ink. It also serves as a binder if you're using the alloy. So you'll see that in this sample, you've got the, let me find a clean finger. This has got alloy in it, and when you rub it, that comes off. That's with the alcohol ink. If you do the same with the blending solution, it's not supposed to come off, probably because I have a big clump of it right there. It doesn't come off as much. I didn't blend that very well, so that's sitting right on top. But the blending solution acts as a binder for the alloys. The blending solution compared to regular alcohol dries a little bit faster, but it does slow down the drying of the alcohol ink, okay? So I did a bunch of prep here to kind of show you some things. These pieces of Yupo paper that I did, all of these are the translucent Yupo paper, so you can see through it a little bit, see shadows through it. And then if you want a comparison, this is the white. So this is the translucent and this is the white. See how you can see the shadow of the white through that. All right, so on this piece, this shows how this side is with alcohol. So I just put a drop of alcohol and then I put a drop of ink on it, and I blew it around with my bellow and kind of blended it and mixed it. You can kind of see that your lines are a bit more defined. And this color is Gumball, which is a very bright pink. So you can see that the difference between the alcohol and the blending solution, the color is a little bit different. So this one is the same with the blending solution. I just put a drop of the blending solution and then a drop of the alcohol ink and then blend it around with the bellow. And I'm going to actually do that, but I just kind of wanted to show you some of the differences in using the alcohol and then the blending solution. This one, it moved and blend together, but this is a couple drops of blending solution and then a couple drops of coral alcohol ink, and then I didn't touch it. I didn't blow it with the bellow. I didn't pick it up and move it, and it spread out like this. This is a couple drops of alcohol and then a couple drops of the same ink, and you can see that it kind of stayed here. Now, I did eventually have to move it, and it kind of started to blend with the blending solution, but it didn't spread out and blend. That's what the blending solution does. It helps the ink to move and blend. All right. Now this one is with the alloy, and on this side it is a drop of alcohol, a drop of ink, and then a drop of alloy, all stacked on top of each other. And then I blew it around with the bellow, and you can see that the alloy really blended in with the alcohol, and then the color is a bit different. Now this is the blending solution. I didn't blend this one around as much as I did this one, but you can see that it's spread mostly by itself. I did push it around a little bit, but you don't get such defined lines like you do, and neither is right or wrong. I actually love what the alcohol does with those lines. So this is just showing the way that the two things work differently. Okay, and then I did some bigger ones, kind of like a background. So this side here is the alcohol, and I kept adding more ink, different colors. I used mermaid, aqua, and I'm trying to read the colors, stream, with alcohol and a little bit of the gold or gilded alloy, all right, on alcohol. This is the blending solution, and you can see it really just kind of looks a little bit more blended. Same thing, blending solution down. I kind of put it in the corner and then added my ink and blew it over. And I'm going to show you a sample, or I'm going to actually demo that in just a minute. But these are the different alcohol blending solution. And then one more, I just used a drop of alcohol and a drop of ink, and then I used the paintbrush. And this is alcohol, so I took my brush and I dipped it in alcohol and I pulled it down through, and then I wiped the brush off to get the ink, because what it does is it picks up the pigmented alcohol, the alcohol ink, and it pulls off the color. So I would dip it in alcohol, pull it down, and then wipe it on my towel. I did it about 3 times, so you can see how it lifted up the ink. And then over here, I just took some alcohol on my brush and put some dots so that you can see how it kind of makes a pattern. So different ways that you can make some texture in your background. And then the same thing over here with blending solution. You can see how this kind of spread out a little bit more, but I pulled the blending solution down a few times and then put some dots over here. I can't see the dots as much, probably because it's lighter, but I did the same exact thing on both sides. All right, any questions so far? Because now I am going to show you in real time. And let me see if I can bring the camera down a little. Don't get dizzy. There's a delay, so I never know how far I'm down here. It's kind of like you're on a carnival ride. Okay, so let's start with alcohol. Let's use the coral alcohol ink and the alloy, gilded alloy. All right, and I am going to do a background. So what I typically do is I'll either spray it or use my dropper. I'm going to use the dropper because then it'll be exactly the same as using the bottle for the blending solution, because it's kind of like a droppery thing too. So I'm putting a little bit of alcohol here in the corner, and then I am going to put a couple drops, and you can kind of see it doesn't really move very much. Kind of just sits there. And then I'm going to put some of the alloy there. Kind of fizzes a little bit when you put the alloy on. Now when it's going to start moving is when I start using the blower. And I'm just going to go back and forth, move it around, try to keep it on the paper. And then we'll add a little bit more. A little bit more ink here, kind of moves the alloy around a little bit more so you can get those rings if that's what you're looking for. I like those. So now you could certainly add another color. You can add some more alcohol. You can see how it kind of makes a circle there. It kind of spreads out, but it'll let you move that ink around some more. Blow some of that ink off my glass mat back onto the paper. How about that? All right, now you could even add in another color. So we'll put a little bit of alcohol there, and let's add some sunset orange and add a little bit of the alloy there. And then we're going to move that around with our blower or bellow or whatever you want to call it. All right, so you can see that it blends, but it's more of a textured blend, not really a smooth blend. And you could fix some of that by adding some more alcohol if you wanted. Blowing that around, you'll reactivate. Depends on how hard you're blowing with the bellow and all kinds of things like that for what exactly you will get in the end. All right, so this is using alcohol. Okay. Anybody have any questions, or are you mesmerized at how the alcohol ink moves around on the Yupo paper? I'm always just so amazed by how the alcohol ink moves around on the paper. All right, Susan says, yeah, you could, those would be good fall leaves, wouldn't they, Susan? She's saying that that would be good to die cut some leaves out of. Would be a pretty color. Okay. Next, we're going to do the same exact thing with our blending solution. All right, shall we use the same color so you can compare them, apples to apples, apples and oranges, because those are the colors we use. All right, so the same thing, we put some blending solution down here. Now watch how when you do this drop, look how it spreads out. And then when you put the alloy in there, that just spreads out too. And that just starts blending and kind of making rings like a tree. So when you start moving it around, you have more of a blended look. So we'll put a little bit more blending solution in the alloy to get that to move around. All right, then we will add a little bit of, oh sure, suddenly my orange isn't gonna work. I just used it. Sorry about that. My orange, whoops, wrong lid is clogged, so we shall go to bubblegum. And we'll put some of that in with a little alloy in there. A little bit more coral. And you can just keep adding and blending more in, adding more blending solution to get it to move around more. See, this dried a bit fast, so we could put some more blending solution and get that to move around some more. But even after this dries, you can still, the ink is still going to react to the blending solution or the alcohol. So if you let this dry just like this and you decided, oh, I unclogged my orange, which I'm trying to do. Oh, there we go. And I can add some more. And now we can get some sunset orange in there. And we've got some really pretty fall colors blending here. Put a couple more drops of blending solution to get that moving around some more. And voila. So that is just using the alcohol inks with alcohol and blending solution and your blower to make backgrounds. So this is just one of the ways that you can use your alcohol inks. If you become really good at wielding the blower, this is what they use when you see those really pretty flower shapes that they do. It's all about the way that you use the blower. So you start with your blob and then you blow it one strong squeeze kind of, shoves the color into the shape of a petal. I haven't tried it, so I don't feel comfortable demoing it. Maybe I will try to figure it out, but just blowing these inks around and blending them, it's amazing at the different textures and patterns you can get. So we've got these two with the blues. This is with alcohol. This is with alcohol. These two are with alcohol. All right. And then these two are with blending solution. Robin's asking, what's the difference between the ink and the alloy? The alloy is the metallic that you can blend in with your color. It's what gives you the gold. So it's not just color, it's the metallic, and it's just called alloy. There's also, where's the other metallic is the mixative. So there's also a mixative that you can add and mix in with the color. So I'll have to do a little bit of experimenting with that one so I can show you how that one works as well. There's also the pearl inks, which have the metallic in the color. So there's a lot going on with alcohol inks and just so many ways to make gorgeous backgrounds. But I will take these little samples and have them at the store, and we'll put them over by the alcohol ink so that you can kind of get an idea of the different ways that the alcohol ink works with the alcohol and the blending solution. All right, so I'm looking at the comments. Marilyn saying, you're thinking fall leaves. Yeah, this one would make beautiful fall leaves, wouldn't it? Yeah, it sure would. And you can stamp on top of these. The other thing that you can do with alcohol inks is the lift ink, which is really interesting too. So maybe we'll take a look at that, because what that is a stamp pad that you can use on your stamps, and when you stamp on the alcohol ink, it lifts the alcohol ink off, so you got the stamped image. And then you can also take what you lifted off and stamp it on a solid piece of like white or whatever. So it's like you're transferring. You're pulling, your lovely background, you're stamping it, and transferring what you pulled off onto a piece of paper for an image. Does that make sense? We'll have to try it. It's easier to demonstrate it probably than to actually tell you about it. So I hope that this was helpful. And if anybody else has any questions, I'm going to give it a minute. Don't forget that this Saturday is Scrappy Chat. We will have a Michigan project. We will have the drawing of our YouTube contest for all the people that subscribe to our YouTube channel. We've gone not well over our goal. We're at 505 subscribers now, so we've definitely reached our goal. We've got a bunch of people entered in that drawing. We've got some new Halloween Stuff by Belle chipboard pieces that are going to be introduced on Saturday. And for those of you that hopped in the Shop Hop, over on the Shop Hop Facebook page before Scrappy Chat, we will be drawing the grand prize winner for the Shop Hop. So lots of fun things going on Saturday. I also think it's coupon day, so I'm sure that I am going to see some of you folks at the store. And then we have our Michigan Memory Decks class on Sunday. So I will be hanging out at Scrappy Chic this weekend. Hope to see you guys there. Thank you for joining me, and happy Tuesday.